Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a great day to be in the Army, whore?
Sir, yes, sir!
I can't hear you. I said, whore?
Sir, yes, sir!
That's better. Welcome to the Pandemic Crisis Range. I am the designated instructor for this block of instruction, and my name is Major Depression. In this block of instruction, you will be taught how to successfully engage a point target while equipped with one standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19, one each. Whoa?
Sir, yes, sir!
I said, whoa?
Sir, yes, sir!
If there are no further questions, depart smartly to the shed and secure one standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19, one each, and reassemble on my mark on the firing line. Whoa?
Sir, yes, sir!
I said, whoa?
Sir,
Move
yes,
out.
sir!
Group attention. Say hello to my little friend. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have already been introduced, and you know exactly why you are here this morning. Are you ready to wreak death and destruction on the world? Is it a great day to be in the Army, whore?
Sir, yes,
I
sir!
said, whore?
Sir, yes, sir!
That's much better. As you will recall from prior tactical training or just from freaking movies and books, if you have never shared the glorious experience of Mortal Kombat and war, I said Mortal Kombat and war, death and destruction, mayhem and havoc. Hooah. Any standard issue equipment is no better than the operator who must deploy it in some support of a mission to achieve a tactical and or strategic objective. For review, within the hands of one specially selected and well-trained infantry soldier, fully knowing the hazards of his chosen profession, the maximum effective range of one standard Army rifle type M16A2 is exactly 550 meters on a point target. Where do we shoot? Center mass. Where do we kill? In the head. Shoot to kill, whore. I said shoot to kill.
Sir, yes,
And the
sir!
maximum effective range of one standard issue fragmentary grenade type M67 is exactly 15 meters when engaging an area target, regardless of the operator ability. I said regardless of the operator ability.
Sir, yes,
A
sir!
freaking moron could successfully deploy one standard issue fragmentary grenade type M67, provided that he or she move out smartly from the kill radius of the shrapnel that will penetrate and saturate the designated kill zone. Are we clear?
Sir, yes,
I
sir!
said, are we
Sir,
clear?
yes, sir!
But God or nature or whatever you believe was very kind to this standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19 through evolutionary forces alone, and according to official reports, not created in a defense research laboratory facility, equipping it with both a spike to penetrate deep into a cell to create maximum damage in the interior, as well as enhanced in attack with facets of the HIV virus that provided the ability to degrade a human immune system. I am required to inform you that even though the novel coronavirus type COVID-19 bears an uncannily close resemblance to the SARS virus that developed in or emerged in Hong Kong in 2003 in both its genomic and nucleic acid profiles, nearly a perfect match like twins. My little friend here, which you are about to successfully deploy, is just one of God's gifts to man through nature. Aren't we glad?
Sir, yes, sir!
I said, aren't we
yes,
glad?
sir!
The unique capabilities that we are informed was just a freak of nature occurrence that could only have happened by itself is exactly the biological weapon that an evil scientist would want to create to wreak havoc around the world and eliminate or greatly reduce the world population, permitting only the young, strong, and able to survive. Selective genocide. Accordingly, I am required to conclude that if you are not outside the fatality range of this standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19, as a man of faith, we must say, a God in heaven just does not like you, and aren't we glad?
Sir, yes, sir.
I said, aren't we glad?
Sir, yes, sir.
At this point of instruction, I am required by sensitivity training to display some sense of empathy to demonstrate clearly to you that I care. But do I care?
Sir, no, sir.
It is good that we understand one another. So having exchanged the required pleasantries, I am further required to inquire if anyone needs to use the ladies'
Sir, no, sir.
If there is anyone present experiencing an urge to release some abdominal pressure or gastric releases or any other toxin in your system, let me make this perfectly clear. I do not care to know your identity. Just move out smartly, and when you are done, proceed to the personnel office and get the hell out of my army. Are we clear?
Sir, yes, sir.
I said, are we clear?
Sir, yes, sir.
It is so refreshing to express our feelings of mutual love and kindness for one another in the business of war.
Sir, yes, sir.
Continuing on with this block of instruction, I am required further to provide a brief review of what we have recovered thus far. You have been familiarized, fully trained, and equipped to identify the unique features and capabilities of one standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19. And there should be no one here that is unaware now of its perfect lethality and efficiencies in the conduct of war. God's gift to man.
Sir, yes,
Is there
sir.
anyone here who has a death wish?
Sir, no, sir.
Is there anyone here who honestly believes that this gift of God to man, deployed by a capable operator, cannot kill you, for it is a perfect weapon of war and mass destruction, perfect in its imperfections?
Sir, no, sir.
War, gentlemen and ladies. One theoretician said it's simply an extension of national or even global policy by other means. And you volunteered. And one professional soldier said that it is not the mission of any soldier in war or battle to die for his country, but rather to meet his enemies or hers on the field of battle and to engage with violence of action to make that other poor dumb bastard die for his or hers. Fortune favors the bold in battle, but only because this is a training environment. I am not permitted by law to let you die. Are we clear?
Sir, yes, sir.
But if you choose to depart the parameters of this block of instruction, I can only say, based upon Darwinian selection and science, that there must be a God in the heavens who simply does not like you. Does God love you?
Sir, yes, sir.
Very good. The prophet said, I was exceedingly glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord.
Sir, yes, sir.
Moving on, moving on. There are only two types of soldiers on the battlefield, the quick and the dead. We are moving on with this block of instruction. I am derelict in my duty to provide to you a safety briefing. But if I may be frank, if at any point en route to the Pandemic Crisis Training Center on the day designated on your training schedule for a block of instruction on the successful deployment of a biological warfare agent, you believed somehow in your crazy head that you are going to Disneyland. I do not care to see your face, nor know your identity. I only pray for your mama and have just move out smartly and get the hell out of my army. Are we clear?
Sir, yes, sir.
I said, are we?
Sir, yes, sir.
Outstanding. It is established that we are dealing with a deadly pandemic pathogen, and you have been issued one standard military handkerchief, so unessential that the military has not even provided it a nomenclature. And if you yet believe that that cotton possesses impervious qualities to prevent this deadly pathogen from hurting you, just get the hell out of my army. Some of you wannabe special ops types that have gone down to the post exchange to purchase a bandana and look like some wannabe soldier that you saw in some silly movie, if you believe that bandana will protect you from a biological agent that is smaller than a cell, a weapon of mass destruction, just join the sissy holding his handkerchief and get the hell out of my army! In prior training, in biological warfare, you were issued one medical mask, type M95, which you may still have in your cargo pocket or tucked in your gear. But if you believe that that piece of cloth buried down in your pocket, contaminated with everything in your self-imagined sterile environment will protect you now, then maybe you can get a job at the Center for Disease Control. Are we clear? Then now we're ready for some great training. Are we motivated?
Sir, yes, sir.
Are we dedicated?
Sir, yes, sir.
Are we ready to fight tonight?
Sir, yes, sir.
Huh?
Sir, yes, sir.
Outstanding. Okay, now let's see who is really, really dedicated or just too stupid for me yet to detect. Everyone highly motivated volunteer to serve as a demonstrator of our standard issue novel coronavirus, type COVID-19. While everyone else has just 9 seconds to don your standard issue field protective mask, type 50 series, M40 series, or for the old school soldiers, M17. On my mark. Gas! 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 As our highly motivated volunteer makes his way to the front, successfully negotiating a simulated biohazard environment for purposes of training, permit me to explain that when a standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19 is deployed by an able operator, which actually could be any old moron, and you don't have to be Rambo to succeed, he or she has no choice, because the fully deployed novel coronavirus type COVID-19, pardon me, will operate to trigger the natural defense system of a human target involuntarily, as the human body naturally works to expel a contamination that enters into the respiratory tract via the mouth or the nose. Voluntarily, they have no choice either. And again, this unique facet or capability of this biological agent loved by God is another enhancement that makes it a perfect weapon. As you recall, the standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19 is equipped with both a spike to penetrate deep into the cell to create maximum damage and an HIV derivative that enables it to degrade the capability of the human immune system immediately, once in contact. But despite being very capable to wreak havoc once securing a foothold on a host, this perfect virus either did not think of this sneeze or cough trying to expel it from its foothold on the target in its natural evolution, not inside a laboratory, or by serendipity, was granted by God in nature an efficient means to secure a foothold in the target host and exploit the defense system of that target to attack someone else. Perfection! But again, according to official guidance, this all occurred by complete accident of nature. And we all know how often perfection occurs in nature. Almost every day. Just look around, or we wouldn't be here.
Sir, yes, sir!
Outstanding! And once securing a strong foothold in the respiratory tract of a human host, dependent upon the point of entry, the standard issue novel coronavirus, type COVID-19, may be deployed in only one of two deployment configurations, either through a sneeze or through a cough that permits the contagion to depart his or her respiratory system, be propelled through the air with sufficient velocity at speeds up to 50 miles per hour in a cough and 100 miles per hour in a sneeze, while smaller droplets measuring less than 10 microns have been demonstrated in fluid dynamics to achieve velocities exceeding 200 miles per hour. God damn! And projecting the novel coronavirus droplet out to a straight line linear distance not to exceed 6 standard feet, at least according to medical experts at the Center for Disease Control. However, if you are a cosmopolitan type like some of you are, who reads magazines like National Geographic's for more than the pictures of naked women, you know that a droplet propelled by a sneeze can achieve a linear distance unobstructed up to 27 feet. More than 4 times what National Public Health Guidance has determined to be the law of social distancing, but that is way above my pay grade. But what we will demonstrate here on this firing range, with the assistance of one highly motivated volunteer today, is that whether the standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19 can hit a target does not matter at all what distance it is at, based upon what you have been instructed thus far, or based upon what you already knew about virology, epidemiology, and or fluid dynamics. What does your little friend, that muscle between your ears and most deadly weapon on the battlefield, inform you? Since it may take up to 2 to 5 days for a person to become symptomatic, the standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19 is not, I say is not, a weapon to be engaged at an area target like a standard fragmentary hand grenade type M67. No. Even though at least 3,000 fragmentary droplets will be propelled through the air, and even though each droplet may contain over 200 million viruses of any type, it is not tactically the equivalent of a fragmentary grenade, where regardless of where shrapnel hits you, you will be in a world of hurt and wishing it could suck just a little bit more. No! It is a target weapon, like a standard issue military rifle type M16A2. And unless your natural defense systems that enable your nose or your mouth to expel any contamination possess the additional capability, by God, to defy the forces of gravity that will degrade the trajectory. Factors that a military sniper must consider when engaging a target at great distances, as well as wind currents, obstructions, and other variables. More likely than not, that projectile droplet aimed at the mouth or nose of your victim will have a very, very difficult time engaging anyone who is at least as tall as you. And then also face the challenge of having to hit that bullseye of a nose or a mouth, which is a pretty difficult random shot to make, even with gravity and everything else working against you and 200 million possible chances. But apparently the God in heaven or nature that created this standard issue novel coronavirus type COVID-19 somehow had the foresight to calculate that you would fail in the test of superior marksmanship. And I have never known a virus that could do that all by itself. And this virus, heavier than air, will fall and land like any other object under the force of gravity on a surface, where the CDC has determined that it can survive without a human host for up to at least 11 days, and just sit in wait like an ambush for someone to come along and touch it with their hands, which each and every person will use to touch their face at least 3,000 times per day and infect themselves, which makes it a perfect weapon. But again, I am required to state that according to the Centers for Disease Control, they are not yet certain if a virus surviving up to 11 days on a surface will kill you. But they are very, very certain and have put out definite guidance that you may save your life with a bandana and do-it-yourself medical mask. Are we clear? Now, where's my volunteer? Very good. Son, I have only one question before you do this great act for God and your country. Does God love you as much as he loves this novel coronavirus? Are you sure? I have to ask because this is all theoretical thoughts based upon government guidance, and they don't always get it right. Like God!
Longer burst. Yo, I'm down here. You and me? No gun. Okay.
This advertisement was authorized by Mike Webb.